And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to ESL Open Cup Asia 224, the grand finals. Those grand finales. We're here finally after a pretty intense back and forth tournament. We've had some amazing players rise and fall, and now we're down to these final two competitors. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Post Youth, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Talent Esports. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And if you are in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets, Papi. Place your bets on who you believe is going to be this week's champion. Will it be Dark or ByuN, a Zerg or a Terran? One player or the other. Up to you to decide. Best of luck. Predictions. Best of luck. As we do settle into this, it is going to be a hatch first here from Dark. Likewise, ByuN not going for a CC first. We have seen a lot of Terran players tempted to go CC first and have gotten away with it as well. Very similar to Radis's Station in that sense. What I'm referring to here is the fact that we have a pocket hybrid base. We have a free hybrid base here available to our players, so we have seen quite a number of Terran players be quite greedy here to take it a little bit faster. We can see that ByuN is going for a much more standard build, going for a Rax expand, but regardless, this natural base is going to be very safe and very secure. Very safe and secure. Likewise, the third base isn't too much in the open either. We have our triangular thread that we can take. Alongside that, we have our gold base as well. Now, we have seen a lot of players, a lot of Zergs and Protosses, even Terrans, depending on the matchup, rush into this gold a lot faster as a third, not even a fourth. Even as a natural at times if you wanted to be a little bit more aggressive and all in. So there's a lot of gold. There's a lot of gold. There's a lot of gold to be taken here on this map, on Post Youth. Can lead to some interesting games. Same can be said when it comes to the map layout. As the gold base, sure, it's available here to get a little bit earlier, but it's so exposed as well. We have high ground towards the north, high ground towards the south. We have an entry point here on the right-hand side as well. It's a very exposed base. As Reaper does get across the map, going to be dancing with the Lings. Doesn't quite get a drone yet. Oh, doesn't quite get a Ling either. Two of those Lings getting very low, though. Just trying to buy time for the Queen. And the Reaper is going to back off. Yeah, the Reaper pulls back. The Queens are up and running. And we've held. Behind this, Dark was able to skirt around and sneak out a drone. And we have our third base on the way. Behind this, interesting. Okay, speaking of greed, we didn't go for a CC first, but that is a Rax expand into a command center, into a Rax. A very fast third CC. Insanely fast third base here from ByuN before the factory, before the starport. It's going to be 3 CC into a 3 Rax. Let's go. So ByuN's being quite greedy here, and he's going to be building up quite a hefty bio count as well. Going to be working on a very large bio army, going to be pushing out with Stim, I imagine, once we get our add-ons on the way on these Raxes. And I believe we should be hitting before Metavax, before we get into any starport production. So this is going to hit like a truck, but it's going to be delayed. That's the give and take that we have here. We have a very greedy build, and we're going in towards a bio push, but Dark has time to prepare for said push. And because of the base layout, he doesn't quite have means to punish this build either. Punish the greed. Dark is going to be happily joining up. Likewise, when it comes to Dark's playstyle in this matchup, he's quite fond of roaches and ZvT. But on a wide open map like this, do we embrace the roach or do we go into Lingbane instead? Just because Dark is known for his roach play doesn't mean that's all he can do in this matchup. He's quite fond of Lingbane into Lurker or roaches into Lurker. Sorry, Lingbane into Ultra is what I meant to say. Lingbane into Hive Tech into Ultras on some of these larger maps. Or Lingbane Roach as well. We'll see. Meanwhile, there's that Stim that we spoke about. Stim, Combat Shields is going to be a timing once both these upgrades kick in. There's that factory, soon to be a starport thereafter. And Dark is going for a lair first. So very standard play here out of Dark. He's not being too greedy. What I mean by that is that Zerg players, they have the option to go into like double Evo chamber first, for example, into faster Evo chambers, or into a faster Baneling nest. It's just going to be a lair first here from Dark. Into a more standard Baneling nest timing into later Evo chambers. So nothing too crazy here at the Dark. Meanwhile, here comes that push. Remember we spoke about how this bio timing from ByuN was supposed to hit before Medivacs? Well, we're moving out already, and Stim is going to finish. Again, there's a very crisp timing with Stim. Now, because there are no Medivacs, there's no sustain. There's no way to heal up these Marines, so every Stim counts. Every Stim is so important with this army. Likewise, we can't Medivac out. We can't lift up and get the hell out of here. So we do like those Medivacs. So ByuN has to be very careful with this army. Meanwhile, Dark, he's amassing Lings, amassing Queens. And you can see ByuN, he skirts around the edge and he pulls back. He doesn't commit, not yet, waiting for reinforcements. Yeah, he doesn't like what he sees, he pulls back home. Thankfully, ByuN doesn't throw his army away. Doesn't throw it away, he pulls back, he's playing safe. Playing safe, now he's got 1-1 on the horizon, he's got the rest of his add-ons being switched over, now we're getting into our medevac production. Soon we can go into drop play. Soon drop play is going to be made available. And because Dark had so much of an army, because he was so ready, again, ByuN didn't commit. Not going to move out until he has access to that drop play. Now ByuN is going to be focusing down those rocks. Just gaining access to this Xel'Naga. That's another feature of this map, is that there is a Xel'Naga tower here, but you do have to knock down these rocks to gain access to it. ByuN taking the triangular third here, already fully saturated. Again, you can see that ByuN, he is actually ahead economically. He has an even worker count with Dark plus Mules. So because of ByuN's build, like, the greed is really paying off now. So ByuN is keeping up. Exceeding Dark. Meanwhile, Dark going Ling Bane Hydra. A very, very standard unit composition here. Nothing too fancy here out of Dark, just Ling Bane Hydra. Very solid unit composition. Very flexible. Lings and Banes being set up on the right-hand side. Dark prepared here on the left. And keeping up with the drop play. Queens are positioned in the main. So the drop is denied. At the same time, we're going for a move out here on the right-hand side. And in comes Dark. Ooh, but the tank is in position. ByuN, he does defend, even taking down some Banelings for free. Yeah, just really nice tank position here by ByuN. Holding control of the Xel'Naga and also covering itself as well, for the most part. Dark trying to sneak up on those drops with his Hydras. ByuN committing to bio tank. 1-1 is done, 2-2 on the way for ByuN. Working on the rest of his Raxes, getting up to 8 Raxes even, okay. So we do have an A-Rax set up here by ByuN. We're not taking additional gases, we have taken 1 here at the third. We should be throwing in a 4cc soon, but that's a lot of bio for ByuN. Oh, as the goal base is going to be going down. Very nice positioning here with the tanks on the high ground. The goal goes down. ByuN can't get much more than that, but upon killing a base, now we throw down the 4cc on location. So ByuN achieving quite a lot here. Like, he's got quite some momentum on his side. He's trapped with these 2 medevacs, somewhat trapped. But he's gaining ground once again. Clearing up creep, forcing Dark to expand towards the left-hand side. Getting his 5th. As ByuN is getting his 4th. Rocks have been knocked down by the tanks. A siege. Tanks are set up. Reef going to be receding once again. At the same time, Dark going for his own Ling Bane run by, and this time he does get in. He's going for the tanks, and they will go down. We should get one and then the other, forcing ByuN to turn back around and race back home. Yeah, both tanks fall. A third tank as well. Oh my god, this thing run by. Insane. And now that ByuN's out of position, we collapse on top of the main army. Yeah, we get us around big bathing connections on the Marines. We get another tank. We're down to 1. 1 tank left here, and 1 swift move. Dark, he created an opening for himself. He caught reinforcements, dragged ByuN out of position. And Dark, he's all over this. Once again, setting up for another flank. ByuN still getting his 4th base. And that momentum that ByuN once had, not there anymore. His position significantly weaker upon losing 3 tanks. Good positioning here by ByuN. Does trade well for himself. At the same time, pushing towards the left-hand side. Still has quite a threatening bio force. But only 2 tanks. Only 1 factory producing as well. No second factory. This is basically a 3-base all-in out of ByuN. Not gonna lie. He's main nutting over towards that 4th base. Hasn't made any workers for quite some time. Refusing to throw down a second factory as well. And ByuN is committed. ByuN, he's committed to his aggression. Oh my god, the power bombs! The power bombs, they shut down one of the medevacs. The other does escape. ByuN reinforcing again with Mass Marine. Remember, there's no finesse with this. There's no ghosts, no widow mines, no marauders, no additional tanks. Still only that 1 tank. Again, it's because ByuN is just sending it all here. He is A-Raxing. When I saw the 4th base, I thought he was transitioning, but that is not the case. We catch another tank. Another tank goes down. Again, that's still a lot of Marines that you have to respect. Stim forward once again at the same time. Dark. He breaks the 3rd base. Getting into the mineral line. ByuN completely all in at this point. Medevacs are going down. Looks like back at home he does clean up the army. Does defend his 3rd mineral line for the most part. And ByuN, he's still trying to brute force his way through, and he has forced the creep to recede. And there's still a lot of DPS available here. Dark waiting for his Vipers, waiting for some blinding clouds. Again, there's 2 tanks available. Vipers are pushing forward. Blinding clouds are not quite thrown down. We go for the power bomb instead. We go for the power bomb. ByuN, he's gaining ground, getting us up the base. He gets a hatchery. He does get the hatchery. Dark in some trouble. Is in quite a bit of trouble here. You can see as ByuN, as he's running out of minerals, he's main nutting over towards the 4th. He hasn't made a worker in quite some time. Now making some SCVCs pulling back. He's rotating around. Another hatchery falls. Mass Marine, Papi. That's all you need. Ooh, as we do get on top of the tanks. Once again, both of them go down. To reinforce with 1 more. Now, Dark is at least double expanding on the right-hand side, but he's down to 3 bases. Oh, has such limited larva available. Dark is hurting. Again, earlier he did such a great job at just punishing ByuN, catching tanks, but ByuN, his position was still a little bit too strong. He just bullied his way forward, killed 2 bases, and Dark, he's up against the wall. He's hurting so much right now. And because of the position, because of the terrain, ByuN, he just rotates around and he's already within range. He's already within range of this goal base. It's not going to get up and running. It's not going to mine. And ByuN, he's doing it. He's doing it here. There's no pushing into this. Dark just cannot engage. Goes for a big link counterattack, but there are reinforcements back at home. Does force a cancel. That's 13 dead drones and a hatchery. At the same time, Ling run by, but again, there are reinforcements back at home. 3-3 is done for the Terran. And ByuN, he is breaking through. Now we get some ultras, but it feels a little bit too late. Ultras are ideal right now because remember, like, ByuN's been all in this entire time. Like, there's no ghosts, there's no marauders. Ultras, they can do well for themselves with upgrades. But can they make up for this deficit is the problem. So you do end up catching one of those tanks. Decent Bailey connection as well. Oh, big Bailey connections. Dark having a very good fight here towards the south, but he loses another hatchery. Another base goes down. This game getting very scrappy here. You see how overstimmed ByuN is. Kiting all the way back to his own main base. Marauder production has commenced. Oh, that's the beginning here. ByuN taking up. Boys are being pulled. Marines, they race back home. Ultras, they're putting in a lot of work. Dark is not out of this. We killed how many Marines? 78. 78 Marines went down there. But this fourth base for ByuN, it's just paying off so well. Big run by comes in. We focus on one mule. Managed to get one mule here at the fourth. Not much else. Behind this, infestors are on the way. Spellcasters are hitting the field. Dark, the quality of his army is getting better and better. Like, the quality is looking quite solid here for Dark. We just need a little bit more time for these infestors. And one or two good fungals. And Dark can bring this back. But now we have Marauders. Bathing Runway comes in. 13 SCVs go down. Big connections. Another Bathing Runway being set up on the right-hand side. More links here towards the left. Dark, non-stop harassment. Infestors, they have arrived. We have fungals. ByuN scans. He pre-splits his army. Does spot the infestors. Rotating around. Again, we're just looking for a juicy connection for Dark. Leading Runway comes in. Once again, we collapse on the army. Fungal on the Medivacs. Fungal on the Medivacs. Fungal on the army as well. Big connections. And Dark, he's cleaning this up. He's shutting this down. Clutch Transfuse keeping those Ultras alive. One of them finally gets picked off, but only one Ultra falls. Whew. And just like that, ByuN plummets in supply. And GG gets called. Dark, he does it. Oh my god. GG, Dark. There was a moment he was down to what? 2.5 bases mining. He lost so many hatcheries, so much momentum. ByuN was running away with it. But Dark, he was able to hold on, not just by defending, but the non-stop counterattacks. The Ling run-bys, the Baneling run-bys, the Ultra counterattack as well. Very impressive there. For Dark to be able to hold on, to be able to buy time, harass, bounce back, and survive with the higher tech, you know, with the Ultras, with the Infestors. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Dark takes game one, but that was not an easy game. That was not an easy game whatsoever. We're getting ready for game number 2 on Crimson Court. It was very back and forth. Aye, aye, aye. Very, very tense, very back and forth, and now we're getting into our next game into Crimson Court. I don't expect ByuN to play the same style again in this entire series. Going for an ARAX 3-base all-in like that is, again, typically map reliant, very much so map reliant, depending on the rush distance by ground, and the of course, features of the map as well, these tank positions that you can lay siege upon the fresh mining bases of the Zerg. So, as we saw, it was almost enough. I mean, it should have been enough to kill Dark then and there in game 1 on post-youth, but now we're loading in to Crimson Court. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have our blue Zerg player from South Korea leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Terran player from South Korea representing Shopify Rebellion. Looking solid in that last game. Things were looking up for him, but the game, it slipped through his fingers. Can he bounce back? Going for 2 racks. It is ByuN. Here we go. We have our first racks being set up here on the low ground. Here comes the next SCV. It's going to be a 2 racks Reaper build here out of ByuN. Dark going pool first. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. You beat me to it. That's key. There's someone freaking out in the chat. Calm down, Papi, calm down. Another fellow mod beat me to the timeout. Smooch. wanted to be there for it. Calm down, Papi. Again, when it came to that last game, being that emotional, I mean, it was a very, very tense game, very, very brutal game number one, and basically ByuN was going for an all-in. It was going for an all-in, and if you remember, initially Dark had held. Like, Dark, he was in a prime position to take that game where he was able to harass across the map, catch the tanks, cripple some of the economy as well. But ByuN, based on his positioning, based on his, I mean, with his reinforcements as well, he was able to just bounce back regardless, even without his tanks. And yeah, that was a wild back and forth. It was a wild back and forth, a very messy game one as well. Now we're getting into game two. Again, 2x Reaper. Reapers are moving out across the map. But because it was a pull first, the Queen is already ready. The Queen is done earlier than normal. So Dark, he should have an easier time defending with his higher Queen count. And we'll see if ByuN can break through as well. A bit of miscontrol though! Oh my god. ByuN flying too close to the sun there is one shot away from going down. Does manage to escape. Thankfully. Now, this build from ByuN, the purpose of it, of 2x Reaper, is to contain the Zerg player on 2 bases and delay the third for as long as we can. This is not meant to, like, get out of control when it comes to economic damage or kill queens or kill the Zerg. But ByuN, he's going for more damage. He dives into the main. He gets a drone. Good pickup. Gets a drone. Backs off as well. Some bonus damage dealt there by ByuN, as Dark has yet to expand. Behind this, we're following this up with, ooh, a 3-racks build. Okay. So the way this works, initially, of course, ByuN is slowing down the production, slowing down the economy, following this up with a bio push, very similar to the last game. We're going to be hitting a time with stim. This is going to be hitting without medevacs. So it's going to be a stim timing here with mass bio, and if Dark doesn't see this coming, if Dark doesn't get ready for this, then the bio push, the sim timing can just get out of hand and can snowball out of control. But Dark, he did scout the 3rd racks. Big scout there by Dark. Does scout the 3rd racks. Ling speed has kicked in. We dive on top of the Reapers, and we do focus them down one after the other. All 3 Reapers do fall. We'll pick off there by Dark. Does shut the Reapers down. Dark, he's now trying to rush into his 3rd base. Roach Warren's on the way, but Dark is vulnerable. He's quite vulnerable at the moment. Marines are moving out, and can ByuN deny the 3rd once again? Can he deny once again? So far, a good start of stepping here out of ByuN. Does get some damage done, but he will pull back. Remember, stim isn't even done, by the way. It's finishing up in 5 seconds, so that was a very, very ballsy move there by ByuN. Not punished for it, though. Did get some nice damage. Here come the reinforcements, and here comes the real push. The sim timing is soon to be upon us, and Dark is in trouble. The queens are exposed. He does pull back the roaches. They make it just in time. How many roaches do we have? 6 roaches. Is that enough? You can see ByuN trying to catch the army out in the tall grass, and we collapse onto the army. We stim on forward, and so many roaches go down. And ByuN, he's looking to snowball out of control. He takes down the queen. Things are coming in. Can we hold? And it looks like we barely do force ByuN back. Dark holds. And we have a game. Dark, he holds. He doesn't lose his 3rd base, doesn't lose his 2nd queen. He lost 1 queen, but not the other. And now we can draw. Now Dark can saturate the space, and now ByuN can get ready for the next step, working towards a 3rd CC. For now, ByuN, he's got his eBay on the way for +1, factory and starport for medevac production. Looking at the trade here, it was 9 Marines for 16 Lings, 4 Roaches, and 1 Queen. And ByuN is going to hit the field once he gets his medevacs out. Then he can stim as much as he wants. He can be more active. There it is, 3rd CC on the way, so it's not a 2-base all-in. We're working towards a 3rd. As the Dark does at least get a full scout of the main, he does confirm the 3rd CC. ByuN pushing towards the south. Double jump going into the main. Marines here threatening the third base as well. And we'll see if Dark can keep up. The downside here of a Roach heavy composition is how immobile it is. You do focus down 2 Roaches and 2 drones. ByuN does pick up at the same time, stimming on forward in towards the third base. Can he get in? Up! He can! Ooh, boys are being pulled. That's going to be 5, 6, 7 drones going down. Oh my god, the target firing! Did I say 7? I meant to say 12. 12 drones go down at the third base. A critical amount of damage. We drop back into the main. We focus down 2 more queens. This is getting out of hand. This is becoming far too much. That was what? 2 queens, 6 roaches, 12 drones. 1 medevac did go down. Thankfully for Dark, so he does fight back. But those are some brutal losses, and ByuN is ahead. ByuN, he's ahead in the economy. Getting his third base on location. Getting his mules up and running as well. And his upgrades are soon going to be kicking in. Now it's going to be on Dark to recover. It's going to be on Dark to try to stabilize here. Don't go into the long grass. Oh no. It's like a Pokemon encounter. And how do we bounce back? Okay, so Darky's rushing into an infestation pit. So we're rushing towards Hive Tech or most likely infestors for fungal growth. We have Burrow and Tunneling Claw on the way. This is a good way to bounce back. With Tunneling Claw harassing roaches, we could try to get into mineral lines, pick up SCVs, catch reinforcements. There's potential to bounce back here for Dark. Is potential. And as we saw in game 1, you can't count him out. You cannot count him out. As ByuN drops in towards the third. Keeping Dark on his toes. Triple drop here towards the left hand side with Marauders. And it looks like ByuN, he's just concerned about denying a fourth. Keep an eye on the fourth base. Gonna deny it if it ever gets thrown down. Go triple drop in towards the natural. We catch a queen. Not quite. We go for the Roach Warden instead, and Tunneling will do it. Finish. Oh my god, big snipe here. Roach Warden goes down. Ravages as well. At the same time, drop here at the center base, picking up even more drones. Good target firing out of ByuN. Getting 7 drones. The medevac goes down, but this is worth it. 7 up to 10 drones get targeted here at the third. And we may have lost the medevac, but again, it's so important here that ByuN, he's just all over Dark, crippling his economy, making sure that Dark, he just can't really get up and running. Still no fourth base. Finally being thrown down. Dark is going for the Nidus. Now, because of that sniped Roach Warren, no Tunneling Claws. He has Burrow, but no Tunneling Claw Roaches. That comeback mechanic is no longer available for Dark. And we're pushing. Now, ByuN does not see the Nidus. Nidus is finished. Roach is coming in. At the same time, ByuN is pushing. Dark, he gets into the main base, camping the production as well. Very good counter-attack. At the same time, we spoke about the fast infestation bit. It was for infestors, for fungal growth. Hive is on the way. The Roaches, they take down the Rax. Okay. Rax goes down. Solid counter-attack. Meanwhile, drop going towards the main. Yeah, this center base is going to be going down. Dark knocked down to 2 bases. We've seen this before. The center base does fall. Dark just cannot keep up, cannot save that hatchery. Has been pulled apart left and right, time and time again. And Dark was just never allowed to recover this game. He was never able to freely saturate his third and get back up and running economically, get a fourth base. ByuN has just been in his face the entire game from the get-go, from the opener. The Nidus harass was nice, but as we can see here, it wasn't quite enough. ByuN also maintains his tank count. We get a decent fungal, but there's no follow-up either. No follow-up from the fungal. Nidus into the natural has potential. But ByuN, he knows. He does spot it. Does react. Rotating back over. does pull him back. And I mean, Dark, he does have some breathing room. He's back up to 3 bases. He desperately needs a 4th, and a 5th he's double expanding. Because how far behind Dark is, he needs to double expand, needs to catch back up. And ByuN, he's just turtling up back at home. You know, he's satisfied with the damage he dealt. He's shutting down the Nidus Worms. Remember, Tunneling Claws isn't done, so we can only borrow. We can't get away. And ByuN is about to max out. He's about to max out. He's working on 3-3. And once he does max, he should push. Meanwhile, back at home, what is Dark working with? Now, he, I believe, did rebuild the Roach Warren. Yes, Roach Warren has been rebuilt. He's focusing on Lingbane Roach Ravager. Hive is done. Adrenal. Vipers are on the way. Doesn't have a bad army. He just has no sustain as we focus on the spawning pool. Oh my god! We deny Adrenal. Adrenal Glands is denied. GG gets pulled. There's just too much. ByuN pushing through the center, and ByuN ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Again, ByuN gaining a lot of momentum early on with his initial build, with initial opener. Was able to delay and contain Dark onto 2 bases. Likewise with the follow-up 3 racks as well. ByuN achieved quite a lot. Killing drones, killing roaches, killing queens. Again, ByuN just always in the driver's seat there. Constantly applying pressure, and Dark just was not able to stabilize, not able to stand back up. He was just knocked down. Could not keep up with ByuN. GG. And with that, we have a tied up series. We have a series on our hands. We have a back and forth. That's all we ever want here in these finals. No 3-0s. We are tied up 1-1, and who will take a lead in this series as we're getting ready for Game 3 on Oceanborn. Let's go. We're going to be loading into Oceanborn here. And now that we're going onto some of these older maps, I do think that Dark is going to have a much easier time here defending and getting into his own build, getting into his game. I do feel like Dark should have an easier time taking a 3rd and a 4th and settling into his own ZvT. But here we go. We're getting into Game 3 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Talon Esports, being forced into a tied-up series. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion, tying up the series 1-1. It is ByuN. We go. This time, ByuN not setting up for a 2-Rax Reaper build. This time, it is going to be a Rax on the high ground instead. Okay. So we're calming things down a little bit here in game number 3. As a reminder, last game, ByuN went for a 2-Rax Reaper build, which is why he was able to... Oh, but he's going CC first! I was curious. I was like, where's the Rax? I'm a little bit confused. Okay, so in the last game, again, it was a much more aggressive build containing Dark. This time, a much greedier build, going CC first into a delayed Rax, into delayed gases. Let's go! ByuN being quite greedy here. I would say it's usually risky to do this against Dark, but Dark is going for a standard opener, hatch gas pool. Dark should not be able to punish this, should not be able to really deny this hatch, this CC in any way. So a nice start here by ByuN. Ooh, going into 2 racks behind this. Okay. He's cooking, Poppy. He's cooking. I'm ready. Excuse me. Better change your ByuNdies? Oh my god. I'm just thinking of underwear with like ByuN's face on it. You're an animal. What are you doing? Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. But interesting. It's gonna be a 2-racks follow-up here into Reactor. This is so greedy, by the way. If Dark had gone for a pool first, if Dark had gone into a Roach Rush with an early Roach Warren, and if he was pushing out with Roaches, there is literally nothing to defend. There's no Factory, no Starports, no Reaper, no Marine, no nothing. No SCV Scout either. Like, this is crazy. You can get away with this on larger maps, like Alkion and Radisson Station in the previous map pool. But yeah, this is very risky out of ByuN he's gambling, and he's doing well. Like, he's getting away with it. 100%. And behind this, he's going for a 4-axe. Okay, so this is very committed. I haven't seen ByuN 4-axe in a couple of months, actually. It's been a couple of months. But this is quite popular for ByuN last year, like June, July, April, May, June, July-ish kind of era of StarCraft. We saw a lot of 4-axes out of ByuN. This is going to hit like a truck. Now, if you remember last game, that stim timing that ByuN had with 3-axe Marine, and he achieved a lot of damage with it. He didn't kill his opponent, but he did a lot of damage. Similar kind of idea here. We're going to have a lot of axes. This is going to hit with stim, not with medevacs, not with Hellions. Like, this is before Factory, before Starport. No medevacs, no sustain. A very strong mass Marine stim timing here out of ByuN. Because it's 4-axe, not 3, this is more committed, which means most likely ByuN is going to push into these bases. He's going to push into either the natural or the third, and he's looking for damage. And this could kill. This is not an all-in, but it is committed. That's how I would put this here. You can transition out of this into a third CC, into your factory, into your starport. You can work towards a later game, but this is still quite committed. Because of that, I would say that ByuN has to get damage with this. Like, you do need to trade well. We'll see how Dark responds. For now, Dark is in the dark. He doesn't quite know what's going on. Lings are moving out. They're going to be scouting and checking the third base locations, even the fourth base locations. Overlord is parked outside. Dark hasn't even checked to see if it's a third CC. And here's our transition factory into starport. So the Bio army is moving out. And Dark, he does spot this. He does spot the Marines. He's aware. He just droned! Uh-oh. He just droned. He's not prepared for this. He has a good amount of queens. Lings are on the way. But Dark, he's caught with his pants down. Can he hold on? He has to buy time. You can see him pulling all of his queens together, even from the main base. Every queen has arrived. We do have transfused. How many queens is this? 8 queens. That's a pretty solid queen count. Lings are amassing as we speak. And Dark, he should hold. We have enough queens. We do stem forward. We do barely not get a queen. The transfuse a little bit too good. 1 queen goes down. Lings are being shaved off, but it looks like Dark holds. He does hold. He does survive. ByuN does back off. You can see he wants something more. He gets the tumor. Barely gets the tumor. Gets the hell out of here. Behind this, we're getting into our follow-up. Oh my god. We're getting into our follow-up, and do you see what I see? No third CC. I did mention earlier how this is not an all-in, and you can throw down a third CC thereafter to transition. That's not a third CC. That's a factory into starport into a 5th Rax. Okay, I was about to call this an all-in. Now we get a third CC on the way, but it's a very delayed third base here from ByuN. And Dark, he's free to drone. Whew, he's free to drone. He's double expanding, taking a 4th and a 5th base. Baliness is on the way, Lair as well, and Dark, he can calm down. He can calm things down, tech up, drone up. Really, my eyes are on ByuN. ByuN, he should be moving out soon with his medevacs. Medevacs are on the way. Here we go. As ByuN's move out was spotted, so Darky's getting ready. Once again, bringing every single queen forward here to defend. Bringing his queens forward. ByuN, he rotates around. He does come across the would-be 4th base, and he should force a cancel. Yeah, there's no saving this. Yeah, the 4th is canceled. Thankfully, Dark double expanded, so he does get a backup 4th base up and running. Again, that's why you want to double expand, because sure, you might cancel one, but you at least have the other. It's an interesting thing to think about. It is. Hi. Once again, you can see ByuN just being as active as possible. Trading with the army, poking in. Meanwhile, here come the reinforcements. Here comes the second wave. Marines and tanks, and he does come across some of this harassing force. Laser caught out. Dark staying with the surround. He goes into with the tanks. Tanks are saved. Marines as well. Hot pickup out of ByuN. Does save most of his army, and Dark, he may have let out too many Lings. Does he have enough to defend back at home? Bathing speed just now finishing. Things are getting across the map. ByuN defends. Baithlings are on the way. Again, we have 2 fights about to begin. We have ByuN's assault across the map. We have Dark's push as well. Dark not turning around. He wants to get it. So does ByuN. Yeah, Dark evacuating his third base. Knows he can't quite defend. Well, he may just lose too much. There we go. We're getting ready for a surround. Yeah, Dark coming back home with everything. Second guessing himself. Moving back out with his Ling Bane. Yeah, Dark, he's just posturing. ByuN working on his armory, getting ready for 2-2. +2 just begun. The hatchery getting very low. Transfuse. He's pushing forward. The base is going to be barely stayed behind this. Dark, he expanded towards the left-hand side. Trying to make sure that his economy is still okay. ByuN has taken an economic lead, bear that in mind. And ByuN is committing across the map. Going for the 4CC, and he does force a cancel. Just barely. Does force a cancel. ByuN is going for a second factory. He's not all in. But that's a kill on the hatchery. It does go down. And now Dark has to pull the trigger. And he will clean this up. He's going to clean up the tanks, but the damage has been done. The base went down. And ByuN, he slips into the main base. Good target firing once again. Getting 5 drone kills. But you know what? The hive is done, and this entire time Dark has been teching into ultras. Dark, he may have lost the base. Dark, he may be behind in the economy, down in drones. That's actually pretty huge. He is quite behind in the worker counts. Dark, he's got some droning to do, but he at least has tech. At least does have that tech. ByuN, he's got the economic lead here. And I want to give the edge to ByuN. Looking solid back at home. He's working towards the next step. More factories on the way. Sorry, more Raxes on the way. No Ghost Academy yet, but he already scouted. He scouted the Ultra Cavern and the Hive. Complete. He knows. He knows what's coming his way. ByuN should be getting ready back at home. Dark going to be committing with his Ling Bane. There's only one tank. The Widowmines have to burrow. Widowmines not quite in position, and Dark, he may be able to break through. Gets into the mineral line. And he does shut down every single SCV here. Big connections with the Banelings, and ByuN not ready back at home. GG gets called. Dark snowballing out of control with his counterattack, and Dark takes a lead in the series. GG. Oh my god. Pappy. Things were looking pretty good for ByuN there. ByuN, he was up in workers, he was getting up in bases, he was teching up as well, but he did lose his tanks. He did lose his tanks across the map, and back at home he had 1 tank, no bunkers. No bunkers, the Widowmines weren't set up either. He was not ready for their counterattack, and Dark, surprisingly, he was able to just find a weak point in the defense there, weak point in the armor, and broke through. GG. GG, well played. These have been very interesting games. Game 1 and Game 2 and Game 3, not a single standard game. We have no standard games here whatsoever between these two players. Very unique games, very unique builds from both ByuN and Dark. Mainly ByuN, really. Remember, Game 1, ByuN did go for an 8 racks. Game 2, ByuN went 2 racks. Reaper into his 3 racks follow-up in just non-stop aggression. Here in Game 3, ByuN going for a 4 racks as well, just really being so versatile and so different with his builds. I mean, again, ByuN, he has so many different builds up his sleeve, so many different playstyles. He can even mech it up. We have seen ByuN play mech before. We might see it in this series, we'll see. As for now, we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkyone, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Talon Esports. Taking a lead in this series, 1 game away from winning it all. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, sorry, top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Red Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. Down in the series, he has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. He needs your support in the chat. It is ByuN. Here we go. But it's been a unique build every game from ByuN. It looks like, once again, CC first. Now, this does make sense. This does make a lot more sense. If you remember when we saw ByuN go CC first last game on Oceanborn, I was talking about how, like, he's crazy. You normally do this on Alkyone, Radisson Station, some of these larger maps. Speaking of, we are on Alkyone. We're here, and it does make sense to go CC first. This is a much larger map, longer rush distance by ground. Because of that, you're a little bit safer here to earlier game aggression. This is a very defendable setup here on 2, 3, and 4 bases. There's a reason why we get a lot of late game on this map. And that could be what we see here this time. I mean, it's been a very intense series so far, very aggressive mid games and even early games between Dark and ByuN. This could be the first time we can slow the game down a little bit and get into the late game. We'll see if we can get there. As, oh, it's the same build. Same build 2 games in a row. It is going to be CC first into 2 racks. I imagine we're going to be going for a reactor, followed by a 3rd racks behind this as well. We'll see. We'll see if it's going to be 3 racks or if it's going to be 2 racks into a 3rd CC. Alright, sorry, it was 3rd CC last time we saw this. Oh boy. It was on Crimson Court, that's it. Crimson Court. A couple of games ago. Meanwhile, Dark going for Hatch Gas Pool, going for his 3rd base on location, without any issue. So standard opener out of Dark, greedier build here out of ByuN. Okay, this is a different variation. So it's going to be CC first into 2 Raxes. He has not SCV scouted, by the way. No SCV scout. Reactor first, so no Reaper scout either. But instead of going for a 3rd CC to be greedy, or instead of going for a 3rd Rax like we saw previously, we're going into a factory. This looks like a Hellbat push. This looks like we're rushing to Stim into maybe an add-on swap or reactor on this factory into an armory. That's what I'm feeling, but we'll see. There's potential for a Hellbat push, otherwise we're just amassing Marines. And this is going to be just a very early sim timing. Behind this, we do have our starport on the way, reactor as well. I think this is just an add-on swap where we just go for the factory with the starport as well, go for the add-on swap into medevac. So yeah, just a 2-on-1. It's been a while. 2-on-1s used to be a lot more commonplace. Many years ago, they used to be standard and meta. 2-on-1s are very out of fashion in current StarCraft, in current meta. Okay. As we get into this, a big shout out to Holy Lime in the chat. Holy Lime 23, thank you so much for subscribing for 15 months. Papi, oh my god. Thank you so much for subscribing. We appreciate the support. We appreciate it. Gracias, papi, gracias. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. And thanks to Holy Lime, we're able to fund our tournaments. We're able to host our events as well. So we do appreciate it. Do appreciate it, papi. As yeah, there's no armory, there's no Hellbats. We're going for a tech lab here. It's going to be, yeah, a 2-on-1. Okay. 2-on-1 refers to 2 Raxes, 1 factory, 1 starport. It's going to be a double medevac stim timing here by ByuN. There's a bit of a give and take. Now, the downside of this build is that you don't have any map presence. Up until this point, the 4-minute 30 mark, Dark has been free to drone. He's been 100% free to drone, get his 3rd base, get his 4th base up and running. Hasn't had to make Lings or an army of any sort because there hasn't been any Hellions or Reapers to harass. Likewise, the creep is left uncontested as well. So this is a big reason as to why 2-on-1s are out of favor. They're out of fashion. The drop has arrived, but Dark, you should be fine. Dark, he should be fine here. Yeah, he's keeping up with the medevacs. They don't get any damage done. And we delayed our 3rd base for this. Is this a 2 base all in? It is. Yeah, with the early tank production, 100%, it should have like, there should have been alarms like blaring in my mind upon seeing the faster tank. But this is going to be what looks to be a 2-base all-in follow-up here by ByuN. Very aggressive. So he's trying to keep the attention of Dark out on the map with these drops. And Dark has not scattered. He's checking the third though. At least Dark, he's checking the third base on the right and left-hand side. There is no third in sight. We have 2 tanks already. We're going for a third. Third tank is on the way. Very aggressive build once again out of ByuN. And here comes the push. As I did mention before, again, ByuN has been so versatile here tonight. Throwing down two more Maxes. No third CC, but doesn't need it. Here we go. We're just doubling down. This feels like a Maru build. Like Maru, he's got a lot of all-ins as well in TVZ. And here we go. The tanks are getting in position. Dark getting ready for a surround. Tanks, they're honestly in a pretty good place here. They're almost within range. Hugging that wall. Dark trying to catch reinforcements here in the center of the map. There's nothing to catch. Dark, he's gonna have to try to collapse on this. There's no other way about it. Get into the mineral line. We focus on a couple of drones. Things they come in from behind. We go for the tanks. The tanks are gonna be focused down. ByuN dropping into the main. Does trade well. Guesslings goes to the Evo chambers. It denies +2 carapace. Big pick off. Doesn't get +2 melee. As the drops are forced back. Now, killing 2 tanks is pretty huge. Bearing in mind that ByuN is all in and we're going for a second wave. Imagine if this second wave had 4 tanks. That would be insane. But now we're down to 2. Gonna be pulling back. ByuN gonna be pulling back, reinforcing here towards the left-hand side. Pivoting around. Headed for that 5th. Now, to be fair, Dark can afford to lose this. This hatchery does not have to be saved. He's rotating over. Tanks are in position. Dark does evacuate. Back with... Oh, no! We transfer in! 5 drones go down. Ooh, brutal pickups. 5 drones go down. ByuN coming in with another drop on the right-hand side. Dark, he's looking for a third, but there's nothing to kill. There's still no third base. And ByuN is ready for a counterattack. Ooh, big Bailey connections though. ByuN unable to pick up in time. Tanks getting within range here of the natural, of the gas at least. The queens! Jesus, there are so many of them. 9 queens. They focus down the medevac. Reinforcements are coming. Dark, he could try to catch this. And Dark collapsing on reinforcements. Chasing ByuN back. And there's no saving these tanks. Ooh, not the best trade with the Bailings, but we take down the tanks nonetheless. And 2 tanks go down. The 3rd is saved. We're pushing in towards the natural base as well. Without tanks, we can bust in. We bust into the natural. Nothing to defend. We get into the mineral line. Good splits out of ByuN, but SCVs are still going down. 12 SCVs in total. And again, Dark, he may have lost 1 hatchery, but he's still on 4 bases compared to the 2 of ByuN. And he's still all in. Like, there's no transition out of this. It's all or nothing for ByuN. Now, ByuN, he's up in army supply. Bear that in mind. ByuN has a larger army supply than Dark. So ByuN can still pull this off. How many tanks? 4. Dark is in some trouble. Dark, he's in a lot of trouble right now. He may have killed SCVs, but what about the army? There's only a handful of Bailings left. Trying to come in from behind. Dark catching reinforcements. And we come in for the surround queens. They waddle in as well. We collapse on top of the tanks. Big Bailing connections. And Dark, he cleans up the tank army, cleans up the main force of ByuN. And ByuN, what does he have left? He has a handful of Marines and 1 Liberator. And most of his army supply in medevacs. How many medevacs do we have? 9. Oh my god. As many medevacs as there are queens. 9 medevacs. We deny a base, which is good. But again, we're still very all in. Good scan. Focusing down some Banelings. And really, all Dark has to do is survive. Just has to survive here. ByuN, he could try to keep this going by picking up his main base and landing it as his third, or even landing it as his gold. I remember Maru versus Scarlet last year in GSL where that did occur. You try to pick up your main and go for the gold, but regardless, drop here into that fourth. Getting a bit done. Getting a couple of drones. Do attempt to focus on the medivacs, and oh, we got one. One medevac goes down. The other three get into the main. Hive is done. Adrenal's on the way. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Dark. This Liberator going ham in the natural, though. 12 drone kills. Oh, my God. 13. 13 worker kills. A drop into the main base. Still getting so much value. And just started stepping against the Banelings. Very nice trades here by ByuN. Oh, but the tanks. They survive. Again, ByuN trading so efficiently. He was down 40 supply. And he's evening up the supplies here. Just out trading Dark. I mean, he has a more efficient army. That's the reality of it. Dark has to be careful. ByuN can still pull this off. He's still 2 base all in. He's been 2 base all in for 10 minutes. By moving forward, the CC going to be landed here as the third. Boys are being pulled. SVs are going down a massive lane counterattack, getting so much damage done, crippling the economy. And ByuN, we're running out of steam. We're running out of resources and reinforcements. They come hand in hand as we get 37 SCV kills. ByuN, his economy has been crippled, and now it's all or nothing. There's no more sustain. Down to 1 SCV. ByuN does get a hatchery. Does get the third base, stimming on forward. Deny some Banelings. Oh, but that's a wall of queens. We have transfuse for days. The transfuse don't stop, man. They don't stop, and yeah, we have too much. We overwhelmed the army. And with that, Dark, he's looking to take this series. He's looking to claim another championship here. As ByuN desperately drops into the main. Dark even burrowing his queens. He's trying to set a trap. Up! Oh, where's the unburrow? Ah! We get the unburrow. We collapse here on top of the medevac. No! Oh my God, it escapes. It escapes, but GG gets called. There's nothing left back at home, and Dark will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Asia champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Dark as he will claim another win, another ESL Open Cup Championship here. Very well done, but a shout out to ByuN because we had a very wide array of Terran here that was displayed in this finals. ByuN playing a different build every single game, time and time again. Game 1 all the way through to game number 4. Different builds, different play styles out of ByuN. I mean, I say different play styles, different builds, all a different form of aggression. Sometimes some greed sprinkled in, but still a very aggressive play style. And Dark at times was having a very hard time keeping up. Game 1, Game 2 especially, both those games were very close. Could have gone either way if only, there were a couple of differences for either player. Things could have swung one way or the other. A very close series. I don't think this 3-1 really displays like how close some of these games were. Dark did win, of course, but ByuN made him work for it. Definitely did make him work for it in the end, and GG. This final game was a little bit less so. Winding it back, if you remember, it was a 2-on-1. CC first into a 2-on-1. I was caught very off guard. 2-on-1s are barely seen nowadays. They're very old-fashioned. It's a very old-school build, and as I was saying at the time, a big reason for it is if you're going for a longer game, a macro game, you give so much freedom to the Zerg player without any Hellion harass, Reaper harass, or Reaper scouting as well. No Banshee follow-up, so you're vulnerable to Roach play. There's a lot of downsides to 2-on-1s. But to be fair, this wasn't your standard 2-on-1. it was a 2-on-1 leading into a tank-based all-in. So I liked the build overall by ByuN. Unfortunately, momentum swung in favor of Dark when ByuN lost his first 2 tanks. When ByuN lost his first two tanks, that was the beginning of the end for ByuN. Like, when you're all in like this, every unit counts, especially your high-tech units like your tanks or medevacs. You need to preserve them, you need to keep them alive. For ByuN to lose 2 early on, it meant that he already lost a lot of wind in his sail, right? Like, he was already slowed down quite a bit there before he could pull off the all-in, and GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark. And with that, we're done for today. We are going to be wrapping up here for today, as we're going to be taking a bit of a break here. I say a bit of a break. We're not going to be casting ESL Americas tomorrow. ESL Open Cup Americas is going to be tomorrow, and ESL Open Cup Europe is in is in a couple of hours. We're going to be going over ESL Americas via replays instead at a later date, so enjoy. You know, there's plenty of other casters out there. There's, you know, Steadfast, BMO, Wardy, Rotterdam, Pig, Fear Dragon, Chicken Man, Dave Testa. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of live coverage for ESL Americas and ESL Europe, so do support those tournaments. They're going to be starting up in a couple of hours. We are going to be casting the Americas portion of that weekly later on in a couple of days via replays instead. Something that we will be casting tomorrow, though, in around 24 hours, is GSL qualifiers. We have access to the replays. The GSL qualifiers were not casted live. I imagine there's probably a lot of people, a lot of casters that have already covered some of them on YouTube and stuff, like Wardy and Pig. Like, the replays were available a couple of days ago, so you may have already seen some of them. No spoilers in the chat if you have, but tomorrow we're casting them live here on the channel. It's going to be a live cast of the replays from the GSL qualifiers, so we're going to be casting that tomorrow. There's a lot of replays, so I'm probably going to try and split up the cast into 2. It's going to be 2 broadcasts, one tomorrow and the other maybe on Thursday, or maybe another day instead. Maybe Friday looks like another potential double broadcast day, so most likely Thursday. So yeah, that's what we have in store for you. So we won't have ESL Americas tomorrow, but we will have GSL qualifiers. So yeah, be sure to tune in. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. We stream not just on Twitch, but also on YouTube as well. And VODs are instantly available on our YouTube channel under the Live tab. The process of editing and cutting VODs, that takes a little bit longer. And that does mean that our YouTube uploads are a little bit behind by a couple of months. Actually, they're a couple of months behind. We upload on YouTube on a daily basis, but we're still a couple months behind. But again, if you just want to tune into the VOD, it's a live VOD on YouTube. It's available there under the Live tab. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Gonna be heading off here for the night, and we'll be back tomorrow with that GSL qualifier broadcast. Otherwise, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Not too sure who. Who's streaming right now? Who is live? I believe Sort of is live, but Sort of, I know he has, I think he got raided by Rainer, so Sort of has a lot of viewers. There's Ubu Thermal. Let's go. There's Uthermal. There's Quaterno. Vámonos. I guess we're going to be giving it to Uthermal. I guess that makes the most sense here. Unless I find someone else. Well, but regardless, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Give them some love, give them some support, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Hasta luego. Hasta luego. Ciao. Happy ciao.